First at 6, a 3-day hearing between the Trump administration and ICE protesters alleging First Amendment violations at Portland's ICE facility came to a close today.
A federal judge who issued a temporary restraining order last month is tasked with deciding if federal agents should continue to be limited in their use of chemical munitions. Fox 12's Julia Lopez brings us the latest details.
The past 2 days, we've heard from protesters who say they're traumatized by use of force and from FPS agents who say they haven't been trained more than an hour at most on crowd control and First Amendment activities. Now, today we heard from the government for the first time, and in its closing argument, the DOJ asserted to the judge its claim that an injunction limiting the use of chemical munitions at Portland's ICE facility would prevent it from doing its job. Lawyers say if agents' actions were retaliatory and intended to keep protesters away, force would be used daily, which it hasn't been. They say, quote, violent protests are not taking place every day, but there have been circumstances where that activity has crossed a line into criminality or has interfered with the U.S. government's ability to carry out its statutes and laws. That's why they argue federal officers need to access tools like tear gas, pepper balls, and pepper spray. They say waiting until there's imminent threat to use force would remove their ability to de-escalate. The judge asked the DOJ why officers can't just make arrests, why they're seen pepper spraying protesters sitting against walls, for example. The DOJ responded that there are a total of 4 use of force incidents under investigation by the FPS. The DOJ also cited a lack of assistance in clearing streets in front of the ICE facility from the city. Earlier, we heard a deposition from the regional director for the FPS, Eric Johnson, who says he's been told by supervisors, including defendant DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, that officers are doing a good job in Portland. And when asked if they've been able to comply with the TRO safely, he said, quote, if the current level of activity continues, yes, by all means. After court, plaintiff Jack Dickinson, who protests at the facility weekly in a chicken suit, urged agents to rethink their roles in the Trump administration.
Since June, the Trump administration has subjected people in Portland to chemical munitions and violence because of our words. While it can feel daunting to speak out in the face of threats, other nonviolent movements have shown us that this is what keeps us safer in the long run and what best protects our rights. Silence is not a winning path. This week, the Trump administration had to hear our grievances. I hope the judge will halt their barbaric treatment of our communities.
The judge hasn't made a decision yet and is aiming for early next week, but he has indicated if his TRO has worked so far, he doesn't see why further limitations would impede the government. Reporting from downtown Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.